Take it back to Soweto now. It's 3 years since the passing of struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, and party president Cyril Ramaphosa has laid a wreath in her honor. A church service has also been held in Soweto as part of today's commemoration of Madikizela-Mandela. Let me take you to eNCA's Govan Whittles, who is on standby with a conversation with one of the late Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's granddaughters, Swati Mandela. Govan, a moment of reflection for the ANC, but also for the community in which she was deeply rooted, as well as the family.
Yeah, that's right, Tulis. There were a lot of lessons to be drawn, and the president of the ANC choosing to draw from the discussion between Roman soldiers at the crucifixion of Christ over who would get his tunic, and them saying that let's not tear this tunic apart, let's rather gamble for it. And the president of the ANC saying that they take that as a message for the ANC, as a message saying let's not tear the ANC apart, because if it's torn apart it won't be useful to anyone. And as you've mentioned, I do have the granddaughter of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, Swati Mandela, with me. Before I go to her, I should just mention that the president speaking outside church, saying that he's confirming that South African National Defence Force troops are in the Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique, and that they are evacuating South Africans from that area. He's also confirmed that the SANDF is doing work trying to secure the area. He's mentioned the towns of Pemba and Palma, and that is giving us some insight into the operations of South Africa in that part of our neighboring country. We saw the SADC statement, of course, last night. But let's get into it now with Swati Mandela. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. So the ANC has said that they want Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's legacy and her memory to be preserved at the forefront of history, that she shouldn't be relegated to the backyard of history. This is the first time that the national leadership is honoring them, her with the wreath-laying ceremony and the service. Just tell us what you thought of that gesture and how you think her legacy should be preserved.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time that the ANC is actually commemorating my grandmother's passing. But yes, today is a very important day in our country. And for me, more than anything, you know, my grandmother was married to the ANC. You know, she was ANC until the day that she died. She served it throughout her life. And for me, for the party to come here today to the church where she served and where she gave, and as the piece said, where she was humble, where she came to make sure that not only was she coming to an Easter service, but she was making sure that the people of the community are fed. So for me, I think that's a call to action that the president took to say that they also will ensure that they continue that part of her legacy forward. But for me as a family, and for us as a family, my grandmother's legacy is going to live beyond just one day. It's going to be an every single day mission of ours to ensure that her legacy lives on. And that can be through a memorial, that can be through museums, that can be through lectures, that can be through dialogue, that can be through media, that can be through books. You know, the most important thing for me, I think, is for young people to know who she was and what she stood for. Because when you know who you are, then you can know where you're going. And that's the one thing that I think we need to instill as a strong identity in our people, especially young people. And I can't be remiss and forget about the women of this country. She stood for women. When women wear the duk, they do it in remembrance of my grandmother, as a symbol of strength, as a symbol of courage, as resilience. So for me, I just feel like every single day you put on your duk, but you put on your armor. It's like putting on your armor of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. And for me, when I see women doing that, when I hear she didn't die, she multiplied, I literally feel like my grandmother has multiplied. It sometimes saddens me that it's in her death that she's being celebrated, but nevertheless, let's take the call and let's ensure that her legacy and the legacy of other women who also stood and who also died and who also gave up so much. And to the women who are victims of gender-based violence, the women that we've lost to gender-based violence, I stand in solidarity with those women, and I know that my grandmother would be horrified at what is happening today. However, we have a lot of work to do, and I put myself behind that, and I say I will carry my grandmother's legacy on by ensuring that I speak out, by ensuring that her name lives on just beyond one day.
Thank you so much. That's Soweto Mandela, the granddaughter of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, and obviously outlining how exactly she wants her legacy to be preserved. So it is about Mama Winnie today, but you can't help but bring the politics into it. And the president of the ANC and the Treasurer General addressed some of that with regards to what they expect to happen with the ANC Secretary General, and the TG of the ANC confirming that they don't expect the Secretary General, Ace Magashule, to inform them whether he will step aside, but they do expect him to step aside, and the period that we're in now is just for him to consult with some of his allies to let them know that he will be leaving his position. For now, it's back to you, Telesizwe.
All right, thank you for that. That's eNCA's Govan Whittle's live for us in Soweto, and he's absolutely right. The politics is never too far behind. This was the organization, the ANC, to which the late Winnie Madikizela-Mandela belonged, and on occasions such as these, you did hear the ANC president reflecting on the state of the ANC. It's only natural that the pertinent current conversations happen side by side and parallel with the history and background of the ANC, including its venerated leaders such as Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. But, you know, this is the ANC post Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. What is the state of the ANC, and therefore the politics always coming into it?